So lately it has happened that here in Jerusalem people actually asked me for my TAV HaYAROK. TAV HaYAROK is the Hebrew equivalent to the English one, green pass. So the green pass, like stating, or it's a certificate that you had your COVID vaccinations, and in Israel you get a green pass, a TAV HaYAROK, after the third shot. The third shot here is called booster. So I had all this, and I got a TAV HaYAROK, I got my green pass. You can either print it out from the Ministry of Health, or you can download an app. And there's always this special code and everything identifying you, whatever. But I have to say, it's not, I know that there are people on YouTube, on social media in general, stating that it's so terrible in Israel that you are being forced. Without the green pass, you are not allowed to enter supermarkets, and people are starving, and vaccinated people are dying. And you know, if you believe in this, it's your own fault. It's not true. Even unvaccinated people here in Israel have a very ordinary life. They are a little limited because they cannot go to hotels, for instance, because hotels here in Israel want to see your green pass, and they are checking because they don't want to be closed by the Ministry of Health. But what you can do here is, even if you're not vaccinated in Israel, you have a very ordinary life, and you can enter every supermarket. You are not limited. Although I heard that IKEA, in English you say IKEA, in Beit Shemesh, which is a town outside Jerusalem, you can only enter IKEA with the TAV HaYAROK. But otherwise, people are not starving. People are entering supermarkets, and no supermarket, I haven't come across any, or the markets in general, they don't ask you for your TAV HaYAROK. They don't do this. They just let in people, and people wear masks. Masks are still, you're still obligated here in Israel to wear a mask, especially when you enter public buildings, when you enter shopping malls, when you enter, or when you use public transportation. Here in Jerusalem, where I live, there is special staff. There are people coming on the bus and the tram and checking if you wear your mask, and if you wear your mask in an appropriate way, meaning also covering your nose or your nostrils at least. There are situations when you are being asked for your green pass, and because I'm a cancer patient, so in hospital I've been asked a few times if I'm vaccinated, if I have the green pass. It happens, and sometimes there are departments in the hospital where they say, if you are not vaccinated, if you don't have a green pass, so we have to take special precautions. And sometimes they charge you something extra, like you have to pay this and not your health insurance. What these precautions are, I didn't ask, and I don't know. And I don't know how much you would have to pay, if you have to pay. I don't know that. Because I have a green pass, so I don't have this, let's call it problem, but there are certain situations, certain departments in the hospital, as well as Sha'arei Tzedek Medical Center here in Jerusalem. It happened to me when I had a PET CT scan. I was asked. In other departments I wasn't asked. And now I'm at Hadassah in Keren because I'm undergoing next week, starting next week, I'm undergoing radiation treatment. And there I was asked if I have the TAV HaYAROK. Otherwise, they said they would have to take special precautions also to protect themselves and to protect myself if I didn't have the certificate. So this is one situation, me coming across the TAV HaYAROK that people actually asked. According to the health ministry here, cafes and restaurants should ask their customers if they have the green pass, and only people who do would be allowed to sit inside, to sit at a table. Otherwise, everybody has either to sit outside or do takeaway and sit somewhere else on a bench, whatever. But this has never happened to me. Although I've been to a few places here also in downtown Jerusalem, and no one has ever asked, because restaurants and cafes, for instance, they say, we don't have the staff to that we could ask all our customers and and check everybody. We don't have the staff for this, we don't have the time for this, so we don't do this. So we have the so-called Yes Planet here in Jerusalem. If you hear noise in the background, that's my washing machine spinning. So we have the so-called Yes Planet here in Jerusalem. It's in my neighborhood in Abu Tur, next to Derech Chevron Street, and it's like a cinema complex, also with a cafe inside, Cafe Aroma, and McDonald's and some other things, the bar, ice cream, whatever, candies. So of course you can enter this, it's like a little mall, it's like a cinema complex. You can enter it and you wear a mask, and the security guard at the entrance won't ask you if you are vaccinated or not. And sometimes I go there to Cafe Aroma to have a cup of coffee, and it has never happened to me that anyone has asked me at this Cafe Aroma, also not downtown. But what they do have is, like, they have a thing standing on the table, like a little sign that only vaccinated people with the TAV HaYAROK are allowed to sit there at the table. Otherwise, they have to buy their coffee and sit, whatever, on a bench outside, wherever. But no one has really checked until yesterday. Yesterday I went to Cafe Aroma at the Yes Planet here, and the guy in charge asked for the TAV HaYAROK. Not that he only wanted to see it, but he checked the code with his smartphone. So this was one situation. I was very surprised, but okay. And then I bought, I went to the cinema, and there I bought a movie ticket, and they told me at the till that when I come to the movies, I have to show, not when I buy the ticket, but when I actually come to watch the movie, I have to show my TAV HaYAROK. Otherwise, I would not be allowed to enter the cinema. Fine with me. I have the TAV HaYAROK, but other people who are not vaccinated may see this as a limitation of their lives or whatever. This is how it works. Sometimes people ask, most times people don't ask. But when you hear abroad, I heard this from someone in Canada, that apparently Canadian media reports that all the vaccinated people here in Israel are dying, and whatever all these anti-vaccine people claim. It's not true. Who is actually dying in the hospitals is people who are not vaccinated. Almost everybody infected, COVID infected, in Israeli hospitals is not vaccinated. Of course, vaccinated people can also get infected with COVID, and there are some in the hospitals, but the disease itself doesn't have such an outbreak as it has with people who are not vaccinated. And this is a fact in Israel, no matter what you hear. You know, people, they surf on the internet and they have all kinds of, you know, this conspiracy theories. It's like 9/11 was an inside job and Elvis is still alive or whatever. So it's the same with this COVID. People tend to, they want answers in their life. They want an answer to everything. And to COVID, there is no answer because nobody knows. It's pretty new. Nobody knows. And it's gonna stay with us. This is my opinion. It's not gonna disappear. But you know, you can't get your information from the internet and surfing Google and Facebook and whatever. You know, you have to talk to medical staff, for instance. And you have to go to the hospitals. Why not going to the hospitals and really check what's going on there? I mean, they won't let you into the corona ward. But, you know, you should check and not sit at home, as many people do, surfing the internet and everybody tells you something else. I've been having the same experience because I'm a cancer patient and I talk about it online, about having this disease. I am suffering from leiomyosarcoma, a rather rare kind of cancer. And people who don't have cancer, who have no medical knowledge like oncology or something, you know, they send me stuff like, this would cure me. You know, if you eat this, if you eat that, if you, I don't know, do this, if you do that. Everybody else who does not have cancer and who has no clue about my kind of cancer wants to tell me, don't do radiation, don't do chemotherapy, don't do this, don't do that. You know, it goes on my nerves. People have no clue and they are trying to tell me what to do. And it's the same with COVID or any other disease. So don't believe everything what people are telling you, but go to the hospital and check yourself in the case of COVID. And now my washing machine is really spinning and making a noise, so I'm coming to an end. And I just wanted to tell you how you sometimes do come across the green pass in Israel or here in Jerusalem. So have a nice day. I hope your washing machine is not spinning that loud. And well, see you in the next stream.